Hi, and congratulations for almost graduating kindergarten. We are going to make a grad cap. Okay, so I used construction paper on this one, but I'm going to show you how to do it with only white paper. If you have construction paper, feel free to use it. It is a bit sturdier, but we're going to try it with just regular paper, printer paper, and see how that goes. So first, we're going to make the band that goes across our head. Now, if we try to do that with a piece of paper, it's not big enough. So we're going to make this paper longer. And we're going to start by folding it. So I'm going to hold it this way so that it's taller than it is long, and fold the ends in together. So I'm going to fold it like that here. There we go. Now I have a crease, and I'm going to cut along that crease. Okay, so I took my paper and I cut it. Now it's in half. Now if I wanted a really thick band, I could glue these together and put it around my head. But I like a thinner band. So if you want a really thick band, you can leave it like this. But if you want a thinner band, you're going to hold it so that it's tall again. Fold in the sides. One more time. And then cut along my next crease. So I folded it in again. Gives me a line. I'm going to cut there. All right, there we go. Hi, this is Grace from the Not So Distant Future. When you're making the band and it's flat and you haven't taped it together yet, that is the perfect time to decorate it if you want it decorated. Now, I have two halves, and I need to figure out how long to make it. Now, I could kind of put it around my head and hold it, try and figure that out, but that's a little tricky. So I'm going to use a measuring tape, if you have one of these. If not, you can just eyeball it. But I'm going to put it on my forehead. I'm going to start at the very beginning. So here's 1. Right before that is 0. There's no 0 marking, but I would know that's 0 because it's what comes before 1. So I'm going to put that on my forehead, go all the way around. My little stuff. And measure. I am. So I'm going to go to where the 0 line is, where it starts, and it is 21 inches. Okay. So unfortunately, my screen won't let me show you the whole thing, but I can line it up here at the 0. Keep going, all the way from one paper. Put the next paper right at the edge, and that's 22 inches. Okay, so that's perfect because I'm going to want a little bit of extra room to tape it again at the end. If this was if I could make it 23 inches, if you're using construction paper, you'll have more room, but your head's probably smaller than mine, so I don't think you'll need more room. That would be great. So I want to make sure that I have at least an extra inch. Okay, so if I didn't have extra room, let's say if my head was 21 inches and this measured 23 inches, or let's say even 24 inches, then I could put this on top of the other paper, maybe go over an inch and then tape it. Or again, you can completely eyeball this part because this is really, really forgiving as for young people with small heads. Okay. So I'm just going to tape it. I put a little bit over so it doesn't fall off. And then I'm gonna measure, right, put it around my head, realize, I'm have just enough room. So I'm not gonna overlap it because I don't have enough room to do that. With the construction paper, because that one was longer, I was able to overlap. Because this one's really short, I'm gonna put it just at the edge. Tape it there. And so I'm taping it on one side, the top, and I'm gonna go on the inside where it connects. Put a piece of tape right there. I used a really long piece of tape so I can fold it over. So now I know it's really tight. Now I'm going to just put that aside for now and grab another piece of paper. Okay, now this is going to be the top of my grad cap. And that part is usually square, but this is a rectangle. So to turn a rectangle into a square, you need to make a triangle. Which sounds pretty weird, but I'll show you how to do it. So, whoops, dropped you a little bit there. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to take the corner of my paper and bring it in to the other side. So I have my paper so that it's longer than it is tall. I'm going to take the corner closest to me, bring it to the edge that's furthest away from me, and as I'm pulling it over, I see this edge here. So I'm making this is creating a triangle. So this edge here is eventually going to line up the edge of my paper, and I want them to come to a point on the top. There, they made a point. This part lines up, and I flatten it out, and I have a triangle right here, and then this little bit of extra paper that I'm just going to cut off. So I'll just cut right where the lines meet, and I'll be left with a triangle. Then I can unfold it, and voila, it's a square. Now, this is a white square because it's white paper. The other one was black, but that seems kind of boring to me, so I'm going to decorate it rainbow because that is a lot more fun than black or white. So you can pull out your colors and decorate your hat however you like. Okay, so now I have the decorated side and the not decorated side. I'm going to put the decorated side down so the non-decorated sign is up. Okay, and then put this on top, my band on top, and I'm going to tape it. Now I'm going to tape on the inside so I don't see it. So I'm going to take a piece of tape. I'm going to fold it in my hands. I'm going to push it right up against the bottom. You can even pick this up. It's up, going up against the bottom. Fold this part up. Make sure this round part is sitting right in the middle where I want it. And I'll just let that tape come down. So, it should be easier if you'd see the tape if it wasn't clear. So, let's try coloring the tape. No, color doesn't really stick to tape, but there we go. Okay, so I'm going to do that a few times. I really want to make sure I do it so that it covers the crease where where I folded the cap to make the square. Otherwise, it'll come up much easier. I'll get some gaps, but that's okay. Okay, real grad caps aren't made super well. And there we go. Oops, I put all my tape on. Okay, now, if you wanted, you could be done right here. Oh, and if you want this band decorated, you could do that too, or do that, I guess, well as in paper form would be much better. Or you can make a tassel. So that part that I cut out of my paper when I was making the square, I'm going to use that for my tassel. So I'm going to start by coloring this whole thing yellow because I want my tassel to be yellow and this paper is white. So I'm just going to violently scribble or gently and vigorously scribble all over this paper until it is yellow. And then I can cut out the shapes I want. Okay, so we're going to use our imagination and pretend this whole thing is yellow. Now, a tassel has, two sides, so you're going to want to color the other side too. But we're going to use our imaginations again and just pretend it's yellow. Now I'm going to cut a triangle out from the bottom. But I'm not going to go all the way. I'm going to leave a little bit of room on top. So I'm almost going to make a triangle, but I'm going to leave some space. Then I'm just going to cut all the way down to the end of my paper. And it doesn't have to be perfect because tassels usually made of string, and strings are not straight. They don't stay straight. So these kind of bendy, imperfect lines are much more realistic than a straight line. They're much better. Now I could tape it just right on top. And go right to the middle. And that's why I cut it really, really long so that I can tape it right in the middle. I'm going to use a very small piece of tape. Put it right in the middle. Now, if you don't want your piece of tape to show, you can take a little square there off a colored piece of paper. Just a tiny little square, just big enough to cover it. Or you can cut it into a circle and make it look like a button. And then take a tiny piece of tape, loop it together. And put it right on top. There we go. Congratulations! You've made a grad cap. You could also, instead of making a paper tassel, use yarn. But I didn't have any yarn, so paper tassel it is. Hey, have fun!